We welcome His Grace Vishnu-Gada Prabhu to the Yatra. Hare Krishna. That's it? Vishnu-Gada Prabhu is one of Prabhupada's stalwart disciples, famous in many ways for his discourses on Shastra, Prabhupada's expertise in Prabhupada's books, for his cooking, for his kirtan, and for his gentle nature, and strict adherence to the ways of Srila Prabhupada's teaching, bhakti. My humble appreciation for you coming to our yatra. Thank you very much, Vishnu-Gada Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah, really makes a difference, especially to me. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. If you just arrived, great to see you. Hope your travels were okay. But even if they weren't, it's all worth it, coming to the Dham, the austerity it takes. So during this time, we got an opportunity to leave aside all other considerations and give full attention to the chanting of Japa. And a few points extrapolated from Prabhupada's teachings. One is that practice well while you can. And he gave an analogy of learning to fly an airplane and said that at some point you have to fly solo. So get used to taking responsibility for your japa, and then if you practice well, you will have the shelter of Krishna very readily by calling out āpannaḥ saṁsṛtiṁ ghorāṁ, yan-nāma, vivaśo gṛṇan, tataḥ sadyo vimucyeta, bibheti, svayaṁ bhayam. One of the first points Sūta Swāmī makes to the sages at Naimisaranya, or perhaps it's Śaunaka speaking at this point, says that actually there's no difference between Krishna and his name. So take full advantage while you can. Also welcome to Jagarini. Thank you very much for coming. That's it? I think we welcomed Kṛṣṇa Prabhu last night. Hare Krishna. For those of you who don't know, Jagarini and Kṛṣṇa are married. And both are disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And I'm deeply grateful that both of you came together. Thank you. And other advice from our acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur advises that one learn how to beg for mercy. If, as Kunti says, you already think you have something, then you're not a very good beggar. You won't be in a good position to beg. At least people don't give you stuff if they can see that you're already well set. But if you really look stricken by poverty and it's obvious, people's hearts go out to you in a similar way. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Enechi ashaudi maya nashi parulagi. Harinam mahamantra lao tumi magi. Magi means to beg. So you can think of the times in when somebody begged from you and you gave. And one comes to mind from our yatra during Kartik, and Chakadola Prabhu was on parikram, and a little boy followed him, he and his wife, Pandapapriya, all the way from Uddhavakund to Radhakund. That's a long way, begging. And Chakadola was very certain that he wasn't going to give him anything, until they got all the way to Radhakund, which was a few miles walking, and the boy never stopped asking. And so finally, Chakadola said he gave him a donation. All he had was really big bills. So the boy received some largesse at that point. And it's indicative of our chanting japa that if we go on begging, don't give up at the first mile, the second mile. Go the distance and keep asking, please, please, please. And being aware of the Dhritarashtra syndrome, when a Kṛṣṇa went to Dhritarashtra and asked him what his intentions were concerning the Pandavas and the bad behavior of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra's son. And a Kṛṣṇa told him that the right thing to do is to surrender to Krishna and not listen to your son. And Dhritarashtra said, your words are eloquent, they're nectarian, but I'm not going to follow them. And this is the disease of the sole misuse of independence. So if we can pray to use our independence properly, take the good instruction and not neglect it, it's a great boon to be able to just say, Krishna, whatever you say, I'll follow. And last night I was listening to Prabhupada speaking, and he said, there's a stick and the person holding the stick. He said, become the stick and let Krishna be the stick holder, and give your will to Krishna. And if we chant with that mood, remembering sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvang sarvapapibhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha, which is a verse in which Krishna says, just surrender unto me and I'll take care of you, I'll deliver you. And Jiva Goswami says in relationship to that verse that the devotees always remember Krishna's promise. And if we can remember that promise while we're chanting, it can be very nectarian to know that Krishna's offered that, and that all we have to do is submit our will. Any comment before we start? A reflection, perhaps? We give the mic to Krishna Gadam. We'll just say a few words.
I think the being in this sangha is a great opportunity to follow it just as you said, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very deliberate. As one of the main points of having a sangha like this, and a yatra is deliberately set up just so we can do exactly that. Any one more? A reflection? Yes. You'll need the mic.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I was just thinking that when we first come to Krishna consciousness because of the mercy of some sadhu, we are not even begging for Krishna Nam. They just give it to us as a gift, and that gift, they know that what is right for us. So when we first received, like somebody just said, hey, start chanting. So that was a gift from them. They are so merciful. So if we beg from them, how much more mercy would we get from them? So I was just reflecting on that this gift that we have, if we treasure it and cherish it and keep begging for more, we will go a long way.
It's a great point, and it's parallel with Queen Kunti's point of Janmaishvarya Shuta Shibir Edamanamada Puman Airaha Yabidatum Vai Tome Kinchana Gocharam. Always keep yourself in a bereft position. And that is, I don't have anything, I was left out. Please, I'm in need of your mercy. Don't think I'm good, I already have something. Which is the mantra of the material world, because when we go on book distribution, we find people say it all the time. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And Vijay Prabhu's reply is, I know you are, but you can always be better, right? So let's try chanting in the mood of Queen Kunti and with the advice of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If we can have that one track of Prabhupada chanting in the background, could be nice also. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakti. Well, it was a quick trip. How did it go? Any reflection? Yes? Akshoka Tirtha.
Hare Krishna. While growing up, my mother used to call me Dheet. Dheet means stupidly stubborn. And then this.
How do you spell that?
Dheet, as in Dheet.
Dheet.
Stupidly
like
stubborn.
Mosquito repellent. Stubborn.
Stupidly, as in stupid and stubborn. So, so the realization, Guru Maharaj, this was really very interesting to set the mood that, you know, we don't have to be stupidly stubborn and go with the flow, and we are so fortunate and we should have gratitude that we have the Sangha of Guru Maharaj, we have Sangha of devotees we can serve, we are listening to Katha. There's so much that is this Mahakumbh of gathering of our God siblings and senior disciples. They're all here, and all the three rivers are here, merging into the Bay of Bengal. So I was just alternating in my japa between being heat and being gracious to accept the gratitude.
Yeah, it's nice that you notice, because chanting japa is a kind of self-examination also. People often don't take time to examine themselves. They just go on with their lives. Their life situation calls them and they respond to it. But taking a little time to observe what are the inner workings of one's mind and heart is important. I had, and I maybe mentioned this at ISV recently when we were in Hong Kong, coming back from India a few weeks ago. We stopped and saw the Buddha, and thousands of people were coming to visit him. And as I were walking back from that experience, I was thinking, what did he do and what's he doing that everyone's coming to see him? He's just sitting there. And there's something to be said for taking time to observe whether one's deet or whether one's, what will be the counterpart to that? Not counterpart, what will be the opposite? You need a Sanskrit word which means the opposite.
Happily accepting.
Happily accepting. Okay. Any last point you want to make about your japa today for the benefit of others? Because sharing means caring. Yes, Chigujavedu.
Thank you so much. So I was just reflecting this for a while now. Like when we chant.
A while? How long's a while?
For
like
about,
since this morning or years or what?
for about a few weeks.
Okay,
because,
go ahead.
Because I had a chat about this with my daughter, that when we chant the Mahamantra, we are constantly praying to Krishna and Radharani to engage us in the service. But sometimes we are so unfortunate. We look at our own comfort, and when Krishna offers us some service to devotees, and we, through our comfort, because we want to be comfortable, and we refuse the service. So I was just reflecting that Krishna, out of his causeless mercy through devotee, offering us some service, and we want to look at our comfort and we refuse the service. So how unfortunate we are sometimes. So maybe to keep our mind constantly engaged and keep thinking, Krishna is offering me service, let me do the service. So I was just reflecting for a while, like I don't know how sometimes devotee can refuse the service when it's been offered. So,
Wow, that's a very astute observation of one's existential situation. Thank you for sharing. A suggestion in that is that these songbooks are really nice. In fact, on the last yatra, some devotees who were visiting the yatra were looking at the songbook, and they were really smart and educated devotees. They said, boy, what a songbook this is. And it reminded me that it's a labor of love. It's been developing over years. And there's an aspect to the yatra where if you take these next 10 days, or how many we have, to keep focused on what we're doing. There's often times where we ritualistically do something and we may not be fully present, but if you keep your songbook nearby, if it suits you, and you follow along and see what's actually going on in the song and you're fully engaged, you'll get more out of it. And if you make the songbook your friend and get to know it, know what's in it, where it is, how to get there, and be disciplined about following along, it makes a better individual experience and a collective experience also, when everybody is literally on the same page. So you can try that if you like. It's just a suggestion. And now we have the opportunity to try that out, because we're going to sing the Guru Vandanam, preceded by a few select prayers, which I'm trying to keep alive in the history of the world. And we'll stand up and have Guru Puja, starting with reciting those prayers, both in Sanskrit and English, and then we'll have one of our esteemed singers sing the prayer. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, so desire, please help us overcome being deet and let us become surrendered souls to your instructions. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Panchakalpa Vrishya Kripa Sindhya Vacha Patita